It's a 4-day weekend. I'm so excited. Also, it's mid-month book bash. It started today. I already read an entire book. Hey everyone. Okay, so as I said, this is a 4-day weekend. We have had conferences this week. We have worked really long days. So yeah, we have Monday and Tuesday off just to give teachers some balance. And so 4-day weekend. Right now it is Friday night, and I thought that I would show you the book that I just finished at work today. And it is called The Changling by Victor Lavalle. Or Lavalle or Lavalle. Hello everyone. Okay, so as I said previously, we have a 4-day weekend this weekend. It is Friday night, which is like perfect because that's like you have the whole weekend to look forward to. And it's also mid-month book bash, so I am going to be taking you with me and just seeing what we can get up to this weekend. It actually is a busier weekend than I anticipated. Tonight I have a chance to chill all day. Tomorrow I'll be at work, but hopefully that involves reading and hanging out with a turtle. We'll just see how busy it is at work tomorrow. Sunday, we're celebrating my sister-in-law's birthday, but then I'll have the rest of the day free to do whatever. And then Monday, I will be at a bunch of appointments with my mom, which I will talk more in depth about once we get there because, yeah, I do have some news. Anyway, so the book that I finished today and the first book of mid-month book bash is The Changling by Victor Lavalle. I have recently heard about this author. He is a Black horror writer, and I just thought the premise of this sounded interesting. The cover definitely drew me in, and then I also heard that it was a new show on Apple TV. So basically my plan was to read the book and then watch the show. Super, super good. What I really liked about this one was it was a mix of some horror elements, but a lot of it was just very realistic, like normal life. But if you've read this, maybe you feel like that's not true because it does get quite weird. There's also a lot of bookish content, so obviously if you're a book lover, that might be your jam too. The story starts out in 1968 with this couple that falls in love, and I think they get married, they have a baby. Actually, hang on, they get pregnant on their first date with their baby and, you know, eventually get married and have him. They name him Apollo, and they're just like the happiest people. They're just living their dream life. Things are going so well. They're so in love, and they have this perfect little baby. And all of a sudden, one day, without notice, the dad just disappears. Like, gone. Like, gone. You start to be like, oh, is this a bit like science fiction? Like, what's going on? Whatever. Okay. Then you go into the future, which is like probably like 2010-ish, I think. And their son is now grown and has grown up with a single mom, and now finds this librarian that he is really into. And eventually she agrees to go on a date with him. They end up falling in love, blah, blah, blah. And then they have a baby. And so there's kind of this tension because Apollo's dad disappeared. And so for me personally, I was anxious that Apollo himself was going to disappear and this baby would again be raised only by a mom. There are definitely hints of stuff that is going to happen, and there's definitely like really good foreshadowing. But I will say that what I liked about this book, many things that I liked about it, was that even though you were kind of had this like doomed sense and this foreshadowing about what was going to happen, I personally did not have it happen the way I expected it to happen. And so, yeah, love this book because of the bookish nature of it, because when Apollo gets older, in addition to falling in love with a librarian, he also is like an used book salesperson, like trying to collect like really rare books and sell them for like loads and loads of money. So there's like that whole bookish piece, and then there's just like this ominous feeling in the book, and then like I said, everything that happens, while predictable in like that something bad was going to happen, not predictable in what happened or how it happened. So yes, the thing that I will say for me, and it might have been because I was reading it at school or because I was just so into it, but there was a lot of twists at the end, as you can expect, and some of them left me a little confused. So I'm really excited to watch the TV series now and to see if having like a visual with it will help me understand some of the things where I was like, okay, I think I understand this, but like, is it what I'm thinking? Like, I don't know who to discuss this book with because according to my Storygraph, no one else has read it that I know of. But anyway, but at the same time, because of the horror elements that are in here, I am going to be watching it like this. Like, I can't do blood, and there's a childbirth scene that was too much for, I was reading like this. And then there's a lot of other gore in it. It is a horror book. But I still am really interested in watching it, and I just ate dinner and I started watching it, so I'm just like a few minutes into the first episode, and Apollo is beautiful. So there's that. Going to work on a Saturday. Why? Because I want to go to Montenegro this summer with some booktube friends. Okay, I just arrived at work and the turtle is gone. Remember the turtle from last time? Like, what the heck am I supposed to do all day today without a turtle to play with? Luckily, I brought one book and my Kindle. So last night I watched this movie with some people online, basically like on Discord. We did a countdown, like 3, 2, 1, and then we all started at the same time, which made it really fun because then we could talk on Discord throughout the movie. And it was called like The Prettiest Thing That Lives in the House or something like that. And it sounded cool, right? It's about a hospice nurse who's taking care of this dying woman, former author. She wrote like thriller, horror books, whatever. And the house is old and creepy and gothic and all that. But it was boring. All of us thought it was boring. So it's kind of a waste of 2 hours, but also kind of cool to watch a movie with other people. Okay, so today's book for work is The Square of Sevens, and basically it starts out a little bit, in my opinion, to like Manhattan Beach. It's this girl and her dad, and they're just kind of like traveling and stuff like that. They are not gypsies. They are people that travel around the world, kind of telling people's fortunes and stuff like that. And they use this like regular cards to do it, and I think the method is actually called the Square of Sevens. But anyway, we have just gotten to the part where it seems the father is dying, but we don't really know why or how or anything like that. And the girl is the one that's kind of taking over this fortune telling situation, and that's all I've gotten to right now. But so far, I just really like the atmosphere. Like, the atmosphere is drawing me in, and the descriptions and all that. It's like a perfect book for fall, so hopefully it will hold up and keep being super amazing.
slow day, the calm and the night will unfold. I never thought that I would be traveling this road. People keeps missing, the clouds seem to fade. And every occasion I whisper your name. I'm happy to hear that you'll still be around. I thought you were leaving without a sound. In my little world you are both pros and cons. It's hard to admit when you feel you don't belong. So tell me, are you still in there? As beautiful as you are, you just don't know how far. In this world I'll be right by your side with arms. Even if you don't want, you wrote your name in my heart.
Hello. Okay, so my mid-month book bash has not gone according to plan, so we thought we could catch up a little bit and I would explain if you want an explanation. Okay, so first of all, and like this is minor, but I plan to read at least a book a day. Like I really wanted to take advantage of me having 2 days off of school and just read loads and just like have the coziest, best weekend. And of course, like the YouTube, Instagram image of a cozy weekend is not always real life, and so it didn't happen, which is okay. But Sunday morning, my plans changed about 50 times. We were supposed to celebrate my sister-in-law's birthday on Friday. It got rescheduled to Sunday and got canceled again, just because of illness and stuff like that. So I ended up deciding to use my free Sunday morning to get my COVID jab, and that is a great plan. But like many of them before, it kind of made me feel like crap for a few days. So Monday I had plans, which I'll talk about in a second, but by Monday I was having body aches and just was like really tired. Like I slept so much, and on Monday, whether it was due to other emotions that were going on Monday or the COVID vaccine, I just basically like lay there and binge watched YouTube and did not really read very much at all. So you know, not a big deal. That is to be expected, and I'm really grateful that I had the vaccine yet again, a little booster, if you will. And I also got the flu booster at the same time, or the flu shot. But yeah, just not really as much reading got done yesterday as I was hoping that it would. Which leads me to the other part of yesterday. So yesterday, I had the day off of school. My mom normally babysits my nephew on Mondays, so I was like, oh, like I have the day off anyway. How about I come hang out with you and we can take him somewhere fun? Well, that was all up in the air because my mom has been diagnosed with cancer. So, yeah, I don't know how much to share on here or what to say right now, because right now is a lot up in the air anyway. But basically, like, we can't really make plans far ahead because we just don't know what's going on right now. And it ended up being that Monday we did hang out the whole day, but I took her to scans in a town like an hour north of me, 2 hours north of her, because that was like the fastest place we could get her in for scans. And luckily, through meeting the lab techs at this place, we discovered like a secret method to getting scans sooner, through their inside scoops and all that sort of stuff. So that was really helpful and a skill that I will use for the rest of my life. But anyway, basically, she had breast cancer 17 years ago when I was just finishing up my sophomore year of college. She got it during the summer, or that's when she was diagnosed. And so for 17 years, life has just been normal. And I don't want to share too much of her, like, her personal stuff on here, but like, she did it all. She was super aggressive when she had it 17 years ago, because my aunt passed away when I was a junior, and I was a junior in high school. And as a result of that, she basically wanted to do everything that my aunt didn't do. Not like my aunt's death was her fault by any means, but she learned from my aunt, I guess, is what I will say. And she was hoping that the decisions that she made would help her out. And they have, because, for 17 years, she has not had cancer that she has known of. But I think what happened, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think that cells were lurking, and just finally decided to be like, hello, let's grow again. I think that's what happened, because her breast MRI was clear. So there's not like a mass or anything like that. But it was found in her lymph nodes. So basically once a year she goes back to the doctor and she gets like an ultrasound or whatever of her reconstructed area. And 6 months ago, her lymph nodes looked weird. So her doctor decided to see her 6 months later instead of waiting a year. And her lymph nodes were like round and hard and black, and they're not supposed to be like that. So they did a biopsy, and it is metastatic breast cancer, which is also confusing to me because as of right now, the only place it is lymph nodes. And I do understand that like breast cancer traveling to another place is considered metastatic, but because the lymph nodes are right there, I thought that was not considered metastatic. But I'm just saying what the lab report said, so it's a little confusing. So anyway, basically, her doctor luckily decided, because this was a change of plans from what she originally said, to get scans everywhere, figure out if it went anywhere else, and then she would start treatment. And so she had, I'm trying to think what her first scan was. I feel like I said I was gonna not share her personal info, and I'm telling you loads of stuff. First, she had a brain, I think a CT, and that's good. There's nothing that's evident or visually able to be seen in her brain, so that's good. And then on Saturday, she went and had a breast MRI, and that turned out to be good as well. Just like heads up, because I think that apparently this is something that's cool. Her brain CT scan or her brain scan came back like an hour later with the results that everything was fine. Her breast MRI took way too long, but it was also done on a Saturday, so we got the results on Monday. And then on Monday, that's when I took her up north to get more tests. And she had a CT scan of like her thorax and her abdomen and like, I don't know, like everything. And like, it was mostly good. Like, there's not really anything in her abdomen or anything like that. There was one part that was a bit of a wondering for me. Like initially when I saw it, I freaked out and I was like, shit, my mom's dying. But on further reflection and consultation with the interweb, I've decided that lots of people have this result that she has, but it's just concerning because we also know that she has cancer. So yeah, I'm not sure what it means yet, and if they need to do a biopsy or just kind of keep an eye on it or what, don't really know. So I'm just gonna avoid saying more until we actually know stuff. And then that came back like an hour and a half later, basically saying everything was fine except for that one area that I told you about. And then after that, she had a bone scan and her bones are good. So it is right now only in her lymph nodes and maybe another place, but I'm not sure. So anyway, yeah, it's just kind of like every day is like just like a wondering about when she's going to start treatment, what that treatment's going to look like. She still hasn't seen her oncologist yet. Like, it's her breast surgeon that is coordinating all these appointments. And yeah, it's like I think we all just kind of want to get the ball rolling and like get treatment started. Like get her port put in and like start chemo and like whatever the plan is. I think surgery is the plan last. I think she'll start chemo first, but like, let's go. Like, the scans have been really fast, but like, let's get the treatment started. So I would say that is something that has been on my mind a little bit. And I think that I don't really know what to think about it at this point. Like, I feel like I have been doing so much action-based response to what has been going on lately that I haven't had time to like pause and think about like, how does this feel in my body? How does this feel? What am I thinking? What am I feeling? How can I take care of myself through this? Because I am like, okay, like, Mom, I'm going to make a list of stuff that I think that you should consider, because I've already told her stuff that she doesn't know about, because she had cancer 17 years ago, and like I told her like about the cold cap and all this stuff because she was worried about losing her hair, and I personally would never use a cold cap, but like there's stuff that she just doesn't know about that I was trying to educate her on and like give her a list for when she's ready to think about it, but not like overwhelm her with stuff. And then I've also been thinking about my sick days and my personal days, and like, how can I make sure that I am not calling in sick to work and taking, I guess, good care of me, or like planning ahead on like how I'm going to use my days so that I can be free to take her to like chemo or to help out in other ways, or if she has surgery to help her out, whatever. So it's like all these like action related plans that are not actually pausing to be in the moment and to feel what I'm feeling. Yeah. So with that being said, yesterday, as I said, after our appointments and stuff, when I was home, I literally just stayed on the couch the rest of the night. And I think like part of that was because I did have a low-grade fever. I did have body aches. I was tired, but I think that also part of it was like kind of like a release from the day and from like the scans and the worry, and like, but this worry is still there, but just like all the feelings. So yeah, so I'm hoping that, I will have like good reading time coming and stuff like that. But I guess I just wanted to tell you like what's going on in my life, and a hot mess of where my thoughts are right at the moment. There is another booktuber who no longer makes videos, but is an absolutely amazing person and is active on Instagram. And her mom has cancer. And so I've been talking to her a little bit. Like I told her when my mom was diagnosed, and I asked her for book recommendations, because that's another thing that I was focused on. Like, what books can I read? What can I do? Like, it was all like action based rather than like stop, just be present. But yeah, it's been really good to talk to her and to see the similarities in our experiences and our thought processes when our parents were diagnosed, and like their responses to their diagnosis versus ours. And then also it's really different too, because like my mom did have cancer before, but it was 17 years ago. I was just finishing up my sophomore year of college. And so even though I thought I was an adult, I realized that I was more in like a child mindset. Like, my mom has cancer and it's so sad and like whatever. And now I'm more in like, what can I do? Like, how can I mother my mom? You know what I mean? Like, it's more like I have a more caregiver mindset, I think, and a more action-based mindset. Yeah, and I don't know, like maybe the child mindset is healthier, but it's just completely different to have it happen again so far in the, like, so at such a different age, I guess, than before. But the other thing is it's kind of launched me into this huge like anti-cancer thing. And I know that no matter what you do, you still are like at a high chance for cancer, at least for me. My chance is high. I go to a high-risk breast cancer doctor every single year. I get MRIs every year. I get a 3D mammogram 6 months after that. So every 6 months, I'm either getting an MRI or a mammogram. Like, you guys all know this. I talk about this all the time, but it has kind of launched me into this anti-cancer mindset where I'm doing more. So there's this chart I found online, and it basically goes through like a whole bunch of like cancer drugs and then also foods, and it kind of shows like, I don't think it's the effect size, like I don't think that's what you say in medicine, but it kind of shows like the impact they have on like anti-cancer growth or something genesis. I don't really know. Anyway, so tea is high on the list, so I've been trying to have more tea, and I just do a tally mark in my calendar every single time I have a cup of tea. And then that's what my focus was the first week. The second week, which is right now, is just making sure that I'm getting loads of physical activity in. Like years ago when I was in college, I was told that I need 4 to 5 hours of cardio a week, and I have not been getting that. Although I have been more active, like, I guess it's been a gradual process over the past year or so that I have been getting more active, but that's what I have now, is a tally for every 10 minutes that I'm active. And so I'm just like trying to focus a week at a time on a certain practice or habit that's just going to put me in a healthier stance. And that's motivated by my mom's cancer, but it's just good for everything. Like, I do have diabetes. I do have other stuff going on that I'm sure it will help with. Anyway, again, it's action oriented and not just like slowing down and being in the moment. But I guess I just wanted to let you know what's going on. I am going to go see a movie soonish. I can't see what time it is. And hopefully I'll have time to read later this afternoon. I'm reading the best book, the most hilarious, and like exactly what I need in this moment. Like, just like bring me some laughs and some joy and all that stuff. But yeah, thank you guys for listening, because like, I don't want to make this into like a huge thing when maybe it's not a huge thing, but it's just like something that is on my mind right now that I wanted to talk about.